Welcome to Grace Notes, the weekly community affairs show with Town of Yorktown Supervisor Michael Grace. I'm Joe Visconti, President of the Yorktown Chamber of Commerce, sitting in for the hugely popular star of stage, screen, and Front Street, Bruce Apar.
Hey. Good to see you,
Michael,
Joe.
how are you?
Yeah.
I just want to introduce our guests real quick. We have Sharice Jervis-Hill, which is the event coordinator for the Yorktown Festival and Street Fair. Nancy Stencone, the Director of Operations, and Andrea Wagner, our Marketing Director.
All from the Chamber of Commerce.
All from the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, we're all here tonight because the Chamber is hosting the Street Festival, which is on for October 12th. And Bruce couldn't be here tonight, but what we usually do on the show is we run down the events that are coming up. And we have a couple this weekend. Saturday, Pediatric Hydrocephalus is having a community day type of affair at the YCC field behind the 6th grade school. And the Justin Veach Foundation is having a concert with Livingston Taylor, which is James Taylor's brother. And that's also taking place at the YCC. I think that concert begins at 7 o'clock, and I think the community day for Pediatric Hydrocephalus is beginning in the morning. And then coming up after that is the following, and then 2 weeks from there is the big weekend. Or is it 3 weeks? Is it 3 weeks from now?
3 weeks.
3 weeks from
3
this
weeks,
weekend.
yeah. October 12th.
12th is the Chamber of Commerce Street Fair, and that's why we're all here today. But I also want to announce a couple of other things. In this at the Street Fair, you're going to have the first Yorktown Festival blood drive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's new this year.
And that will be at the Yorktown Community Cultural Center as well. It'll be inside the building, and that will be from 11 to 5. So hopefully they'll do very well with the crowd there. You have to the donor requirements for that is that you have to bring a valid ID, and you have to be somewhere between the ages of 16 and 75. But 16-year-old donors must submit a completed, a New York blood consent form, New York State blood consent form, which probably will be available at the donation center. You must be a minimum of 110 pounds. You eat well and hydrate before donating, and you can't have any tattoos for the past 12 months. So I guess there goes most of the crowd, huh?
Yeah,
These days.
I would say so.
But I guess that's. I guess there's always a risk of hepatitis infections with tattoos. Right. So, but it's very exciting. I got to thank Dave Rocco, who's very active in the community, for putting this together. I think it's a great addition to the street festival.
I think it is.
Right? And also, since my buddy Bruce has abandoned me this week. Nevertheless, he's asked me to plug for him, which I will. Following the street festival that Monday, which is Columbus Day, we have the and Tom. I guess I got it. I probably have it in the right spot. The Harrison Apar Foundation annual golf tournament. Now, last year, the chamber was a co-sponsor.
Yeah, we actually partnered with him last year.
Yeah, but not this year, I guess.
No, because it's crazy and it's too much. It's I'm dragging after the festival.
Yeah.
Most of us are. To get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go play golf is not happening for me anyway.
We'll hopefully see a lot of. Well, he's going to have have a special appearance by Miss Westchester. The honoree for the day is Jim Graham, which is one of Yorktown's finest.
Oh, yeah.
And they always have a celebrity sports star at the golf tournament. And what happens is that they usually he usually circulates and plays a couple of holes with the foursomes. And this year it's Mick the Quick, Mickey Rivers from the championship. New York Yankees teams back in the 70s.
This year it was Bucky Dent.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And the year before was Tommy John. He was hilarious.
Well,
all the arguments with George Steinbrenner were very interesting.
Well, I think, I always think Bucky Dent told a funny story about Mickey Rivers. I can't quite remember all the details of it, but it was something about him being a little in a funk and playing, and so they had to pay him some cash to, for the day so he'd get out there. And he had $8,000 in cash in his back pocket of his uniform when he went in to slide into second base. And Mickey Rivers was a big base stealer. That's why they called him Mick the Quick. The guy's feet never stopped. As he slid into second base, all his money went flying all over the infield.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
So
But I just want to mention, I think you can attend just the dinner. If
Right.
you can't make the golf, you can
Right,
go
right.
at, I'm not sure at the time, but I'm sure Bruce will be telling us next week. But you can attend just the dinner if you want to.
Yeah, and that follows right after the golf tournament
Right.
Up there. And again, it's I often talk on my show about what I call the Yorktown exceptionalism, and this is another. The street festival obviously is a big example of that, but so is the different volunteer charitable organizations that do operate in town, and one of them happening to be the Harrison Apar Foundation. And I don't know that many people don't know the story, but Harrison was Bruce's son, and he had a rare form of dwarfism, and died at a very young age, complications of his condition. But a remarkable kid, and Bruce had produced a documentary about his son, which I keep on encouraging him to make sure that it's available on YouTube. And I have to eventually make sure I know where the address is on YouTube. But
The year that we honored, the chamber honored the Harrison Apar Foundation, he actually played it for the first time at the dinner dance. And it was really nice. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really very nice.
Yeah, extremely well done, and really something really worthwhile to see. And I keep on telling him he's got to just keep republishing it and getting it back out there, because it's a extremely moving.
He should consider playing it at the golf outing. That would be a
Yeah,
nice
that would be
touch.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I was at one of them, and he played. I guess I think we were at Travelers Rest that year. Is that the year that we were Travelers?
No, I think the year we did it was Colonial Terrace. We played it at Colonial Terrace when we honored the Harrison Apar Foundation.
And I had a gentleman, one of these macho golfers there, in tears. Who's sitting next to me.
That'll do it.
Yeah, actually, very
well done.
Yeah, very moving story, and Bruce is a real dear friend, but he's in that unlucky club of people that have lost a child, and not a very
That's a real issue.
Yeah,
I mean, we all complain about this and complain about that, but when something like that happens to you, it's really a setback.
Yeah, but
And
he's
it's very
really-
hard to come out to get past.
But he's this is a real testament to both Bruce's family and obviously his son Harrison, of really weaving something that none of us want to be part of into something that's really great, and he does it very well. So I encourage people to if you haven't signed up for the golf class, the Harrison Apar Columbus Day Golf Classic or the dinner, certainly consider. If you have the ability to make charitable donations to these organizations. There's a lot of them in Yorktown, but they do.
There are a lot of organizations in Yorktown,
but they do great work.
that need help, and the festival has been a major contributor over the years. I want to say that we must have given away $150,000 over the years to different organizations like this, and that's really what it's all about. And if you can do more, you do more. If you can do less, you do less. It doesn't minimize somebody that's not doing a lot. You do what you can. And the festival has gotten so big that we even stopped the advertising on Cablevision because we don't need it anymore.
Right.
And I think we have 150 vendors booked now, and we still have a month to go.
And the vendors are also, a lot of them are the nonprofits that the community gets a chance to learn about them and have information that they hand out, so the charities are out there as well.
Yeah, it's a great exposure day for the charities because we have so many town residents that are around. I mean, we have 20,000 people that come to this event, so it's a great way for them to just get the word out about their organization. So it's a win-win for everyone, this event.
Yeah,
We draw people from a lot of areas. We have people that come down from Connecticut,
From the
Right.
state.
from out of state. I mean, you know, it's a big
no,
event
it's,
for Yorktown,
yeah,
that's for
and
sure.
what number is this on?
Six.
Six. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
This is
gotten
six.
bigger every year.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, the first year, we were sitting after a board meeting, and somebody said, you know, we should have a full festival. And I think it was Arlette that said that, and we started talking about it back and forth. And the first year, we were going to have it on DeVito Field, and we would have been happy with 25 vendors. I think the first year we were 100.
We were
And then
over
it just
100 the
grew
first
and
year,
grew and
Joe.
grew.
Yeah, we were over. I think we were probably about 150 that first year, which was amazing because we were amazed with the turnout.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And it was, it's been taking off ever since.
Yeah, no, it's no car show though this year. Or,
Having new cars.
New
this year.
cars.
yeah, new
2015.
model, 2015. So that'll be fun.
We try to do something new every year. I've also sat on the committee since the beginning, and it's so exciting to add new, work with what works, take away what doesn't, and we have the new cars this year. We have the dog park this year.
Right,
With the
right.
dog parade.
Dog
Dog park,
Parade.
the parade is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see
They're
this.
doing
It's a costume parade with the dogs.
With the dogs?
I can't wait to see
Well,
this.
every year,
Who's behind that? Is that Drew and
No, it's
Dave?
Rocco.
Yes,
Rocco.
it's Drew
every
and
year I
Rocco.
walk,
Drew and Rocco.
you walk around and you see, everyone out from grandparents to grandchildren, and people have their dogs, and they're so happy to bring their dogs out, and everyone's, admiring them. And I just thought, what a great idea. Let them show off their dogs.
Yeah, that'll be a nice
Yeah.
addition. We're excited.
The festival was designed in the beginning to bring the town, the business, and the residents all together for one day.
Yeah.
And so far, knock on wood, we haven't had any issues. Everybody comes out, everybody's in a good mind, everybody gets along with each other. It's really, really a great day.
Yeah, great family day.
Yeah,
Great community event.
but it
to-
is a lot of work, I can tell you that.
No, I know, and you've done a marvelous job with it now. But you don't do it alone. You do it with a
You're
right?
absolutely, well,
And
that's
so-
why I have these
and-
three young
yeah,
ladies
so-
here, because we wanted to try to bring some attention to what goes on behind the scenes.
Right, right, and
And if it was just me, believe me, we would have been done after the first year. Andrea plays a big, all our marketing is done through
Well,
her.
I designed the flags that you see around town.
And the banners and the
Banner.
advertising, she does a lot. And Sharice, of course, is our event coordinator.
And
location.
let me get a little. You give the people a little bio about yourself, anyhow, because you're not just Sharice. You have you have your own business and you run your own. So why don't you tell us something about yourself, anyhow?
Yes, well, my company is Events to Remember. It's a 10-year-old event management company, and the festival is actually the largest event that my company coordinates, so we're really proud of that. I have a boutique company. It's three of us, and we have staff that we call upon for larger events, but the Yorktown Festival is our favorite, and it's the biggest. It's our loving monster.
Tell me what, as far as your own business, what type of events do you? I mean, just give us a flavor.
Sure. The type of events that we manage are corporate community events. And corporate community are your festival-type events, street fairs, business building vendor-type events, fundraising, gala-type events, and then the other portion of the events that we coordinate are social events. So milestone birthdays, sweet 16s, bar mitzvahs. We don't do any wedding planning. So it's pretty much social events and then corporate community stuff.
Okay, and where's your business located? Tell everybody.
In
Yeah,
Mount
tell everybody
Kisco.
where your
In
business
Mount
is
Kisco,
located.
New York.
All right, we're finding some space for her in
can-
Yorktown.
I-
That's why I remember.
I was in Cortland Manor, and I looked for space in Yorktown for a
You
long
just
time,
leap-
and I
leapfrogged over
and
us,
I
right?
had a hard time. Joe, you have to attest to that. That's the truth. So I'm in Mount Kisco, but I can't say that too loud.
No, that's good.
No, it's all right. She's
Right,
doing
we-
Mount Kisco
close.
sale days
It's
now.
close.
I mean, the festival, I think she grew with the festival too.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I remember the first year, we were all nervous, including
Yeah,
you and me and
yeah.
everybody. We had no idea what we were doing.
Right.
But, interestingly enough, if you remember, when we started the festival the first year, Ossining Chamber of Commerce actually took us under their wing. And we all went down there, myself, Mike Pop, Tony Grasso, we all went down there, and they actually showed us all around the festival. They gave us all their paperwork for applications and things like that. So it was Jerry Gershner, I think, at the time. He was absolutely wonderful
Yeah.
in getting us off the ground.
And
they do a big-
and now we have a bigger one than they do, right?
But no, theirs is pretty big too. Theirs is pretty big too. They do a nice job down there. And then of course I don't want to leave out Nancy Stangone, our director of operations now, because she's really the one that's in the office with the applications are coming in, 8, 9 a day now.
Yes.
Because everybody waits for the last
We're
minute
busy.
to pay up.
Right. And Nancy, you've been with the chamber for just what is it?
It'll be 8 months, but I've been a member of the chamber, and actually that's how I got to this position, because through my business, I was a member at the Chamber of Commerce and attended events and got to know, I knew Andrea, got to know Charisse and other members, and I just got more involved, and the position came open, and I applied, and here I am.
Good.
And it's great, it's exciting, I love working with Charisse and Andrea and all the other board members. And I'm on a different spot now looking in, as far as the festival goes. So it's great to see the things that happen behind the scenes and not just being a vendor.
Right.
So it's pretty exciting. And it's exciting to talk to the vendors and know that they want to participate in the community and what they bring to the community.
They all want the same corner.
Yes, and we get a lot of those
Stupidest
requests.
things. Why isn't my flag over here? Why I want to be next to him, and I want to
The
go
little
over
things
there.
that we deal with.
I mean, come on.
But it's
Well,
a great
hard enough
community
to-
Right,
event.
right. But I can see that being, what do they call it? Herding cats and right sometimes.
But
I
the
call myself
flags
a
are
peacemaker,
so
which means
prominent that even if you see them, on Route 6, you
Right.
could see that
Yeah, the colors are
the
great.
colors are great, the lettering stands out. So, all they have to do is call and say, I saw, this business, where can I find them?
Right. Right.
And we always have an answer for you at the chamber.
Even if you don't want to hear it.
Even if you don't want to hear it.
But we
We'll
got
come up with
we got a
something.
good program this year for music. We have Elvis coming back, which the people love. They love this guy.
Oh, yes.
The Elvis impersonator?
Yeah, what's his
Yeah.
name? I
Pat,
forgot.
Pat
Cerrone?
Cerrone. Pat Cerrone.
Yes.
Patrick
Okay,
Cerrone.
yeah, I think I've heard of him.
Perone.
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 Patrick Perone.
Yeah.
Yes.
They love him.
I'm
And then we
I'm
have
a big Elvis fan, so
He has
Oh,
a
then
great
you're gonna like
following.
this. We
He
have
does.
the
Does.
Jessica Lynn.
we have
Right.
we have Saladonia's band second,
is now
Yes.
with class act. All right.
right? And then we finish with Jessica Lynn, our up and coming country star.
Now that's a pare down from the past couple of years, because the last couple of
Well,
years
you know
you've had a
something?
lot of
Michael, it got crazy there. We had 4 stages one time.
Right.
I mean, the music is too loud. This one's stepping on that one, and you can't hear it.
Right, right.
So we simplified it a little bit. If there's somebody who wants to see music or a show, I think that should be adequate.
Yeah, and we
And
really,
now where is the proposed staging for the band? Is that
Right
going
on
to
the
be?
side of Friendly's, between Friendly's and Kibby's office, or between Friendly's and Hudson Bank,
Okay,
yeah,
so
Hudson
Hudson
Bay.
United
oh,
Bank,
so you have in
At
the
7-Eleven.
parking lot there? Is
Yeah,
it
right in the
right
street,
in the
right in the
street.
street.
We can
Yeah.
have
Okay,
big
so because you had it
There'll
at
be
the
a
end of, you had it at the 7-Eleven in between 7-Eleven and
That's
the
what I'm
Hudson
talking
Yeah.
about.
and the
I
bank.
said 7-Eleven, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
7-Eleven and
7-Eleven.
oh, I'm sorry.
Friendly.
yeah,
It's almost-
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven
Hudson
and-
Savings Bank.
and-
Yeah, so you're right on
Yeah.
the street
The
there.
same
Oh,
spot
okay,
as
yeah,
last
that's
year.
a good
Yeah.
spot. Yeah, because
So-
you used to have there, then you had somebody in front of the YCC, then you
Yeah.
had somebody
Yeah,
in front of the,
yeah, it got crazy.
We tried to simplify it because we realized that, there's a couple of different components happening with the festival. The music is everyone loves the music.
Yeah.
We have the kids' rides by Fun Time Amusement, so it's a nice family piece. And we also have vendors there that are, conducting business. So we want to have a nice balance where there is music, there is kids' entertainment, but
the food.
they're also the food, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the
But there's
food-
also a balance where it's not too loud, where the vendors can conduct business. So we realize that transactions are happening as well.
Is all the food going to be down on Veterans Road again, or is that
It's going to be in the
all
parking
food-
lot of the stage.
Stage, Yorktown Stage.
That works out to be the best spot.
So you have them off the
Yeah, off the road, so we're not bottlenecking and people can walk past
Yeah.
and
And also the children's rides, there's going to be additional new additions to
And that's
the
on the field.
rides.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
that's on the field. The
There's gonna
dog
be
show, of
bumper
course, is
cars.
going
On
to
the
be
field.
nice. No, they won't let us put it on the field. As a matter of fact,
right.
the Parks Department told me, Michael Grace said you can't have it on the field. So it's your fault. But no, we made other arrangements.
Yeah.
It's going to be between the Animal Hospital and I think it's the American Legion or the
Okay.
VFW.
VFW,
That little road
yeah.
that goes into the Fireman's
Fireman's
Field.
Field.
Oh, right.
They're going to fence that off, and that's
Yeah.
going to be the dog park. And then everything relating to the dogs and animals,
Will all be
all
done
the
in-
vendors will
We
be
have
right in
quite
the
a few
front.
them,
dog
yeah.
vendors,
You know,
animal
Right.
vendors.
Pet stores and things like that will be in the front.
Well, the veterinarian office is right there, anyway.
Yeah,
Yes.
right
Right.
next to them. So that'll be good
There's
for them
also going to
too.
be,
A lot of howling going on down there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
there'll be a dog obedience demonstration.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a
And then,
lot
of course, the
different
blood drive you
vendors.
just spoke about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bumper
is new.
cars this year.
Yes.
Bumper cars
Yeah,
for the
Fun Time
kids.
Amusements is going to bring bumper cars.
And
for the
characters.
And
kids.
characters.
Walking around from some
Disney-inspired characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So it should be really, really very.
No Elmo panhandlers, though.
New York City, Elmo.
But
But we really want it to be a fun.
I got to make sure I got my booth. Did I reserve
I don't
my
know
booth?
if you signed up. You know, there's
No, not
150.
yet.
I
Not
can't
yet?
keep track of
Okay,
all of them,
okay,
Michael.
okay.
So actually, your booth was very successful last year. You had a line at your booth.
Very successful. And
you were doing there, but
no, well, we usually do grace notes. At
we're going to do that again.
So I think we'll do, and that's always, it was always a big success because we constantly run that all day long.
And you have a whole line of people to interview.
Yeah,
so-
everybody,
which is
we've
good
got a
also.
lot of local public officials that come by and
Yeah.
and businesses that want to, so we give them all airtime. But we last year was confusing for me because we did run a booth, which was very successful, and we want to do it again this year, and it's basically to bring everybody up to speed as to what's going on in town, what are the future plans and the proposed plans in town. This year I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions about a lot of different things. The pipeline's a big issue.
They'll be there.
Spectra will be there.
They'll be there.
Good.
Well,
And I'm
Spectra
sure, so will be the Stop Algonquin Pipeline expansion people. I
and
imagine.
Costco will be there, and it is a whole. Everybody's coming.
But you know what? I think that's great because it ended up being for me a really great venue to get out information.
yes.
And
Because
educate the community.
Right, because a lot of people they don't necessarily watch cable or they don't watch the town board meetings, and there's always information and a lot of more misinformation out there than there is information. So it's always nice to make myself available to try to tell.
Absolutely.
So
So actually, we had a meeting this morning, and I just want to mention that it's always been the policy of the festival that if whatever you have in your own booth, you're entitled to sell your wares and promote your
Right.
business and this and that. But the one thing we really want to shy away from is people walking around that are not part of the festival, giving out paraphernalia that could be a problem. So, for instance, one year we had some people anti-Costco. Okay, now you got to understand that Costco is a sponsor of this event.
Right.
So you can't be walking around with anti-Costco paraphernalia. So we ask everybody, please use your best judgment. We want to have a nice day. Let's keep it civil, keep respect for everybody, and do the right thing.
Yeah, I think look, I've been to everyone, and you have that contingencies there, but I think it is such a fun day, and I think people get understand. I mean, I being in the political sphere, the exchange of ideas is always a good thing. You always like or prefer that the exchange of ideas is done with respect and some dignity, even for the people that you disagree with. But and hopefully that will be the case. But It's good. It's you know, it is a wonderful opportunity. Hopefully, the weather cooperates. I mean, you had a couple
Well,
you had a couple that were you had
the
some
key.
yeah.
That's the key, the weather.
We had one
One day it rained for
bad
about 20
afternoon.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, sort of a sprinkle. But other than that, every other year was beautiful, and the weather is the key. If it's nice, there's a little chill in
Everyone
the air. If we can have about 70 degrees and full sun, a nice autumn day, people are going to come out.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's always a tricky, October can be tricky, but
Yeah. Well, I pray a lot before the festival.
Me too.
Pray all
I'm
the
always
time
nervous.
before the
I'm always
festival.
nervous until the week before where I can get that 7-day forecast.
yeah.
Up until then,
Well, it's you know, I mean, it becomes one of those things. I mean, you obviously can't rain date an event like this at all. So I mean, you really can't. And that, you know, this year we were Relay for Life. We were a little bit unlucky because that was a stormy night, so we had to, and it was
there was somebody just
thunderstorms.
last weekend that had an event that it rained on.
Yeah, but it's funny. I mean, we've with the annual Christmas parade. You know, we've definitely have rain dated. We're going to rain date that because last year, I think the night before was brutal. And
Problem with the rain date for us is if you're going to rain date this event, you got to rain date it the next day.
Yes.
And you know what's going on the next day.
yeah, but but it's very difficult to do it. I mean, especially with getting set up and
a lot of
Being
business.
such
There's
a
a lot
large
in the
event.
magnitude. We have, up to 250 vendors, just that alone, with
Right.
the music and the entertainment and the kids' rides, and, it's a big undertaking.
yeah,
And the
and you
businesses
also
in
have the.
Yeah.
You have to be respectful for the businesses that
Yep.
do occupy,
Absolutely.
Commerce Street. They have to be open for business,
Right.
and you can't. That's why you don't do it on a Saturday anyhow.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are people.
Well, that
that
was
do-
a big issue in the beginning. The first year we had it on a Saturday, and the Jewish community revolted, and rightly so. That's their Sabbath,
Yeah.
and they were very unhappy, which is why we moved it to Sunday.
And nobody can get to the dry cleaners and
Yeah,
dog
then
Right,
there's
and
just,
Sunday
we
was a
closed
better
the
day because
streets
almost
down.
everybody's closed, so.
Yeah,
It
Sunday
was
was
very
definitely-
difficult for the businesses that Saturday, so Sundays work better.
Right.
And then, Monday, if we were to have a rain date, Monday, we have, Bruce's event, and also Monday is an official holiday, but a lot of businesses are open
Right,
on Monday.
right,
So
'cause
for
that's
us
a-
to try
no,
to close
no,
the
the
streets.
sales weekend-
Yeah, so
weekend,
we
right,
don't
on
want
the
to,
state sales.
the chamber's about business, not
Right.
against business, so we don't want to do that.
Well, there was one. You had one semi-rainy one, and it still was a big success. I mean, let's just bring umbrellas.
God
and-
bless the
Yeah.
people in Yorktown. I want to tell you, it started to rain.
long
They
as
came
you're
out with the
under a
umbrellas
tent.
and just kept right on going.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it
No,
didn't even rain.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a wonderful event. You got a nice selection of food vendors, so you can. There's a lot of good things to eat. There's great entertainment.
We
The
also
kids
have
are
the
occupied.
50-50 this year.
Yes,
Oh.
we
Yeah, the
have a
big
very big
50-50.
50-50 Yorktown Chamber Festival event.
Yeah.
That's
that
going to
will
be a big one too.
No,
But the
it's
food
a-
is great. I mean, we had Christopher Columbus Society there making some sausage and pepper wedges one time. They brought 1,000 pounds of sausage and sold out.
Well, I know Rob from which was formerly Nothing to It,
Nothing
now Destination Bistro. He last year was just working overtime to pushing out the food. But he had
Well,
that,
the senior lunch is big. How many people do we feed in the senior luncheons? 300 or 400?
We speed a lot.
And they won't leave till they have dessert.
right.
So, but it's all free.
Yeah.
So God bless them because they're our past. And
Right. No, I have to. It's again. This is what makes Yorktown great, and I think it's one of the things that on my what I can do is what the town can do. I mean, we trust. We really appreciate all your efforts. I mean, and I know it's.
we love to do it too.
And
Right.
we appreciate your efforts, I have to say. I mean, from the planning perspective, I send you guys kind of a list of what we need, and you guys make it happen. So the town
I got to
is
tell you,
is
the town,
great.
Teresa's right. The town
Yeah.
has been great.
Right, and the
Parks
police department.
Department. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody has been great. Even the day of with that little mule that they run around with. I mean, these guys are great. They really are.
Well,
the
I do.
police chief.
We in the park. I mean, the Parks and Rec. I mean, Brian Gray does an
Yeah.
incredible job, and he's.
And Larry Edelman has been
Right.
terrific with us.
Chief
Larry's there
McMahon
from
is
start to
great.
finish.
Yep.
You know, and
Blown a whistle on me a couple of times driving the wrong way, and
oh yeah, he's Larry's great. The whole police department, the chief. We have a meeting with the chief a couple of weeks before.
Yeah, they're
With
very
Larry, and they're
supportive.
very supportive, and you know, and you're right. It's really a community effort.
Yeah.
I can't do it alone. I can't do it without these ladies and the other committee members that pitch in. I
Right,
can't
right.
do it without the town. Okay, can't do it without the Parks Department and the Police Department, the Fire Department. I mean,
Right.
if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but it's really everybody
Yeah.
that
The
makes
whole
their own little
community.
contribution to this
The
day.
ambulance corps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
they're
ambulance
great.
corps comes. That's right.
Yep.
And we have the Army coming
Army
this
is
year.
coming
They're
this
gonna
year.
volunteer.
Army.
oh, yeah.
Yep.
We're going to put
So-
them to work.
And what are they doing?
We're not sure
find
yet.
something.
We're finding something.
They sent
They're
an
coming
email,
in
any heavy
uniform.
lifting we need done.
Yes.
So, and then, of
So
course, the
setting
Yorktown book is coming out in time
Yeah.
for the
Oh, that's
festival.
great.
That's going to be
Nice.
great. 70 years this year for the
Wow.
chamber.
Nice.
So,
We're celebrating.
For the Chamber of Commerce, yeah, but
70 years.
But it went dormant for.
we had a couple of years where we were absent, but we're back.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
And
back
Now it's
big.
what they call the new Yorktown Chamber.
It was the new, but then
just
Now
drop
it's
it
the
over.
Yorktown
Grace
Chamber
Roma
of Commerce.
passed away.
Yeah.
It was her husband, and she passed, and then we actually bought the name from the children, and now it's all one. So,
Oh, good. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I think, you know, when I talk about Yorktown exceptionalism, you know, there are, you know, a certain amount of people that are always, I mean, involved in everything. You know, you Trissy Kushner, and
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Tristan's involved in everything.
Yeah. But
Even
it's-
with United. She's,
Yeah,
you know,
but you know, and I'm gonna, you know, really, you know, give you some kudos. I mean, a lot of this is you know, the leadership, and it's not, it's just, you know, leadership to recruit people in, to, you know, and not only once to recruit them in, but you know, to give the, you know, boost their morale and enthusiasm for something. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And there are certain people in the community that are pivotal to that, and you're always looking for, you always got to look down the road for a succession plan that you can make sure that you can start, you can
Yeah.
continue to recruit people.
succession
in-
plan.
yeah.
That's what we're looking for right now.
But right, I mean, you've been doing this what? How many years now? So you've been doing it for the whole.
Well, this is my last year.
Yeah. So you've been doing it how many years?
6
now?
years.
Six
I
years.
started
Right.
it.
Right. So,
Wow.
but it's great work, but it's work.
Yes.
It's work, and the chamber needs new energy and new blood and new ideas. So my term's up in December, and then of course I'll be the past president, and of course as long as these ladies are around, they shouldn't really have too much of a problem. But the one thing I want to say is it's really hilarious if you get there early watching the vendors, because some of them are just hilarious. We had a lady one year come, the popcorn lady. She didn't like where the food court was, which was in front of the Yorktown stage. And boy, did she give me a hard time. And I just listened to her, and this was going on all day long. Finally, I says to her, you know what? I had enough. You're not coming back next year. I don't want to come back. To make a long story short, she actually sold out of popcorn at 3 o'clock. Okay? She didn't want to take the spot we gave her, but she sold out. Then she came to me later and says, you know, can I come back next year? I says, if you behave, you can come back.
Well, that's yeah.
But they're hilarious. They're driving up the road on the wrong side.
Right.
Cars on stuff on the roof
But
of the
I gotta
car.
tell you, a lot of people have gotten used to it, and the food. I mean, you know, Rob did incredible.
Rob does a great job.
You know, and you know, I can't remember his entire menu, but whatever it was going like hotcakes. I always loved his macaroni and cheese. So, but.
It's his
But there
specialty.
was you know, all these, and yeah, he had the pulled pork. I think that's what he
Yes,
was
the
doing.
pulled
And
pork.
he started going through that like crazy, and he was
Yeah.
just
But you know, we had Frankie and Augie's there last year, and the year before, and they come out and they're selling pizza slices for $1.
yeah,
I mean, they ran out of stuff too. They were running back and forth to the store.
right. And
They're
it,
coming back this
it-
year.
yeah, I mean,
A lot
it
of
really,
great
I
food
mean, you
vendors.
really, I mean, it is a great opportunity, and it's one of the few that the you know, local restaurateurs really have an opportunity to
To
show
showcase
their
what
wares.
yeah.
and do it fairly well. So I mean, you know, the hope is that this thing does continue to grow. We just have to figure out how we spider it out between the two roads, right? I mean, the room is. I mean,
We
you're
still have
chock full.
we still have room. We still have room.
Yeah.
What we could probably go to
Fireman's
400 feet, 400 booths if we
Yeah.
really wanted to. But you know, that's a consideration too, because right now at 250, Larry tells us it's manageable. Larry Edelman.
Yeah, yeah.
We start going to 400, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
More security,
Right,
right?
well, we-
More ambulances, more
yeah,
everything.
But like you say, we do, we will be meeting, you know, we do pretty much a, you know, security check down
Yeah.
on, you know, before we go out there as to who's manning what and what, because that is an important thing. And unfortunately, in this day and age, you know, it's more important than ever, but look, Larry's an expert, you know,
Larry is an expert.
He's a town's expert in emergency management. He NIMS traded, you know, national, you know, standards for emergency responsiveness, and when we went through things like Sandy, you know, the town worked and operated very well because we've got guys that are we're very lucky because there's not a lot of police departments that have that. We happen to have someone that the town had invested a lot of money in getting trained, which was Larry. And unfortunately, for some reason, nobody bothered to use him for a bunch of years. When I got into office, you dusted this guy off and put him to work, and it's, you know,
Worked out great.
Yeah, huge dividends, especially in Sandy. We you know, the town really proved itself. And but we do, you know, we're very, you know, we'll do a roundtable, you know, about all security issues long
right.
before we get, you know, we get
But
started.
we also have a board member, John Decker,
Right.
who's our security guy, who
And
works
he's-
very closely with Larry.
Right, and he's a former, is
New
it
York State,
Former
New York
captain.
City captain, I
Captain,
think.
yeah.
So he's got
And
all the
a
knowledge, and
current
he's got, and he owns Crown Security.
Yeah, and he's and I do talk to him one time because he has a lot of concerns, but
Yeah.
we do, you know, we're, you know, just for the public out there,
think in 5 years-
we do a lot of planning, and there's a lot of thought that goes into, you know, ensuring that's a safe event as well.
And what's important for the public is, and Larry says this all the time, if you see something, say something.
Right.
Honestly, it's a huge event. There's a lot of people there. You know, we need your eyes just so we're all safe. So if you know, the attendees that come, if you see something, you know, strange that looks weird, please, you know, let us know. We have the police
and-
headquarters set up in Hudson Savings Bank.
Right, you're right at the intersection there.
Yeah.
Right? And your booth is there, and Larry's usually, you know.
We try to keep
and-
everything in a central location
Yeah.
so we could all watch, and God forbid if something does happen,
we can respond
everybody's
quickly.
right there. Although I really have to nail Sharice's shoes down
Yeah.
that morning because she has a tendency to drift off, and where is she? But anyway, the rest of us are all around that booth, the Center of Commerce and Veterans, and you're right next to us.
Yeah.
Larry's on the other corner. John Decker's always floating around
Yeah.
there. So we try to keep
And the
it
ambulance
central.
is there as well.
The
Yep,
ambulance
right
is
on that
there.
corner.
Fire
Yeah.
department's right up the
Right,
corner.
right.
Yeah.
So it does work out pretty good. But the one thing I just want to bring up is that I understand that Mr. Bianco resigned last night
Yes,
from the town board.
yes, it's not a
I-
smile
I-
on my face either.
No, okay, but I have to give kudos where kudos is due. I will say that the first year we did the festival, Nick was the first one I went to get the ball rolling,
Yeah.
because I didn't know what I was going to face at town hall, and he liked the idea, he went with it, and, you know, although Nick and I haven't always seen eye to eye on things, you know, I just want to wish him well.
Yeah, no, I kid him, and I kidded him last night a little bit too. You know, he came up and he said, you know, I guess he's got some health issues, but he's also, I think, you know, hit the age of 70, and I think he just wants to start to enjoy his life instead of being involved. And I tell you, being on what I hear most common, the comment I hear most these days is, you know, I wouldn't do your job for all the money in the world, because there is a lot of, you know, you do take a lot of heat. It's a lot of controversy. It's a lot, yeah, it's a lot of, but we were talking before the meeting, and I said, you know, I've known Nick for 28 years. Wow. And not too many people know this, and I think it was something that I don't think. I don't know, probably was not out there in public knowledge, but actually Nick worked for my firm about 28 years ago, and as my private investigator and processor, and then finally got involved in politics, and when I was town attorney, and actually in the beginning, you know, I tutored him a lot on, you know, what the gig was and everything else, and he took off, and over the years. you know, we've always had a lot of mutual respect for each other, but we've, as is obvious, I don't think it, you know, we've had our differences and substantive ones. But I told him last night, you know, the one thing, no matter how much we disagreed or we got into it, I think we always retained our civility towards each other. And what I always thought was the nicest thing, we could always put it aside and go out and have a drink with each other. And I think that, you know, that really is one of the most important things that you can do. It really is. I mean, you know, it's putting all the crap aside and being able to still be friends and still able to break bread with each other and have a drink and still joke and still have laughs with each other, because then, you know, you put the disagreements and the other things in their proper perspective. They shouldn't invade your friendship over time.
Well, I met Nick Bianco when I was a kid in Yonkers. He was a police officer, and I was just hanging out on the corner. And he used to chase me down the street with the nightstick. But anyway, I just want to wish him well and hope that he has a very prosperous and long life in whatever his endeavor is.
Yeah,
I hope he's happy.
You know what? He was he seemed very relieved and scooted out of here.
blame him.
Scooted out of here very
I
outta
don't
here.
blame him.
I asked him if he was going to be. There's a meeting. I think there's one more meeting before the end of the month, and I don't think he's going to be there. But it's you know, if I go digress into town business, it's going to be an interesting couple of months now, because we're down to 3 board members. I probably wish that we could have done something to, you know, before he left, to at least appoint someone to the empty seat for the next month or so until the election, because we really are down
Well,
to
the
3 board.
election's right around the corner, so.
But you know what? There's there's a lot of business that takes place. And when I was town attorney, the town board met 6 times a month, two televised meetings and 2 work sessions on the off weeks. But the weeks that we had televised meetings, we also met in work sessions. So when I came in, I really wanted to go back to what I used to do as town attorney, which was meet 6 times a month. And that didn't fly well with the rest of the board. So but there is, you know, it's running a business, and the board of that business is the town board, and you have to, business can't be held up. I mean, things have to be done and have to be done quickly, and and it's not, I can't make unilateral decisions on a lot of things. You have to have board approval. So it is imperative, if we have somebody that's sick or ill or whatever happens in 6 weeks, you cannot, you know, you can't conduct any business, and that's not a good place to be putting the town.
Yeah.
And so I may reach out to him if you know, to see if we can't get someone appointed, which would be from the month of October and until the election in November is certified as a winner, and then that person would take over that seat. But
Some free time now.
what?
Be careful what you wish for.
Well, you know what it is. You're really, you know, I don't know that you're going to get a lot of substantive things done, but you really need you need 3 votes to conduct the business of the town. And
So if you have 3 board members, you need a unanimous
right,
decision.
and at this point, well, interestingly enough, I always thought, well, the town, you know, the board moves forward, and there's always dissenters to some. There always can be a dissenter to an action that you're taking, but in order to stop something from happening, it would take at least 3 votes. Now it's only going to take 1, and that's, you know, it's not, you know, the idea is there's a lot of routine stuff that can get done, but to really move things along, the stuff that's, you know, really needs to be done, substantive stuff, you can block it with 1 vote, and rather than having a dissension of really needing 3. And that's the more important thing to realize, is that you can really stall the business of the town just